General Frank J. Grass, the 27th Chief of the National Guard Bureau, retired at the Missouri State Capitol after 46 years of service with the Missouri National Guard. The ceremony was held at the Capitol Rotunda, where 35 years ago, Grass was commissioned as a second lieutenant. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon hosted the ceremony along with honored guests including General Joseph L. Lengyel, Grass's successor as Chief of the National Guard Bureau, Major General retired Raymond Reese, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army, and Major General Steve Danner, the Adjutant General of Missouri. General Grass began his military career as an enlisted soldier in the Missouri National Guard in 1969.
I was a young high school student, kid growing up in Arnold, Missouri, and not really knowing what I wanted to do coming out of high school. It set me on a path. As I went on in my enlisted career, at one point I got very active with the shooting program, and it really took me to a whole new understanding of the Guard, the coordination that has to go into a rifle match, how you put a team together, the practicing, the selection. At that time, for a young sergeant to be able to interact with a captain on a daily basis became a big deal. I think that really set the stage. In fact, the captain I was working with at the time, he had said, hey, you need to go to officer candidate school.
At 10 years of service, Grass entered Officer Candidate School and immediately questioned his decision.
When I went to OCS, the first weekend you go through the state program, a lot of pressure put on you to see if you really want to be there. Of course, I was a little older, had 2 children at the time, had a full-time job. Why would I want to do this? I'm having fun being an enlisted soldier. And my wife said, well, just stick it out, try it. And my father-in-law looked at me, who had spent 3 years and 7 months in a POW camp, and he says, well, it can't be that hard. At that point, I was done. I had to go.
Grass attributes much of his success during his military career to his family.
Family is so important to me. I grew up in a large family, and my wife and I have 5 children, and could not have done it without Pat's great support and the kids supporting me. And of course, the war effort put more stress on so many families, and that is such a critical part of what we do, is making sure our family programs take care of the families, take care of the children, take care of the fallen. So all those programs have become extremely important, and we're institutionalizing those in the National Guard.
As a Missouri Guardsman, Grass commanded the 220th Engineer Company in Festus and the 203rd Engineer Battalion in Joplin.
I think of leading as you are the supervisor, but you have to manage the people and their expectations, and you got to take care of those people. Those men and women, they're going to make you successful. You're not going to be successful on your own. They have to help you, and you have to make sure they're taken care of.
General Grass was instrumental in transforming the National Guard from a strategic reserve force to the operational ready force that it is today.
When 9/11 occurred, I was chief of operations, and we had to overhaul so many of the ways we did business just because we had never mobilized 100,000 since probably World War II. The next morning, the director of the Army National Guard, Lieutenant General Roger Schultz, said he had been at a meeting with the Pentagon and came back to Arlington, where our headquarters was. And he said, this will change us. It would change the nation, but it will also change who the Guard has to be. We can no longer be that strategic reserve. Once we got everything up and running, got the investment in there, everyone was going to war with the same as the active component had. Training, leadership development, the equipping is the same. And that moved us out of that strategic reserve and the mindset of changing from, hey, we'll have time to get ready to go, to, as a Guard, we got to be ready to go right now. So we've really become an operational force. At a time the nation needs us, we are better than we ever have been in history.
Grass represented the National Guard as a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, serving as a military advisor to the President, Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council. He worked directly with the Council of Governors and State and Territories Adjutants General. Throughout his time as Chief of the National Guard Bureau, General Grass worked closely with the Adjutant General of Missouri, Major General Steve Danner.
He has been a sounding board for me in so many ways. I need that advice. And if we're headed in a wrong direction at the national level, I need somebody that can tell me that. Because sometimes when you're a 4-star, people don't want to tell you when things are bad. Steve Danner would always tell me. He'd give me advice, and he would let me know what the men and women of the Missouri Army and Air National Guard needed and what worked for them and what didn't.
Ethical leadership is important to all of us, especially in this day and age. And General Grass has made us all a better Guard, a better Army, a better Air Force, a better military because of his ethical leadership from the front. And I think that that is a legacy that he'll take forward.